Hello and welcome to Electro Nerds Academy. In this video, we'll explore how to use Arduino's built-in 1.1 volt internal reference to improve the accuracy of our ADC readings. In the previous video, we achieved higher accuracy by using an external voltage reference module, the LM4040. If you haven't seen that one yet, be sure to watch it first. Interestingly, Arduino already has a built-in solution for improving ADC accuracy, the internal 1.1 volts reference. To see how we can use it, let's first look at the internal block diagram of the Arduino's ADC. At the bottom left of the block diagram, we find a large multiplexer with multiple inputs and a single output. Control pins select which input is routed to the output. Its inputs include the analog input channels ADC0 to 7. On the 28-pin DIP package of the ATmega 328 chip, only ADC0 to ADC5 are available, but in some 32-pin packages of the ATmega 328 chip, ADC6 and ADC7 are also present. Along with the ADC pins, the multiplexer also connects to the internal 1.1 volt reference, ground, and an internal temperature sensor. The input channel is selected through the MUX0 to MUX3 bits of the ADMUX register, as shown in the table. For example, if MUX3, MUX2 and MUX1 bits are set to 0, and MUX0 bit is set to 1, the ADC1 input is selected and routed to the multiplexer output to the conversion logic. In addition to channel selection, the ADMUX register also determines the reference voltage used by the ADC via the AREFS0 and AREFS1 bits. The AREFS1 bit selects between the internal 1.1 volt reference and AVCC, the supply voltage, while the AREFS0 bit disables both of these options, allowing the use of an external voltage reference connected to the AREF pin. An important point to remember is that if you select either the internal 1.1 volt reference or AVCC as the reference voltage, that same voltage will also appear on the AREF pin. Therefore, you should never connect an external reference source to the AREF pin while either of these options is active. The chosen channel and reference are then sent to the conversion logic, which converts the analog voltage into a 10-bit binary number. The result of this conversion is stored across two 8-bit registers. ADCL holds the lower 8 bits, while ADCH stores the remaining 2 bits. Next to ADMUX register, there is another key register, the ADC control and status register. 3 bits in this register are especially important. ADC enable bit. This bit enables the ADC when set to 1. ADC start conversion bit. This bit starts the conversion process when set to 1 and resets to 0 automatically when the conversion is complete. And the ADC interrupt flag. This bit is set to 1 when the conversion is completed, and the result registers ADCL and ADCH are updated. Now that we understand the basics of the ADC, let's see how to improve its measurement accuracy step by step. First, we use the analog read function to read the ADC value on any input channel. This automatically selects the channel and sets the reference voltage to its default. Next, we measure the internal 1.1 volt reference, but since analog read cannot be used for this, we must access the ADC registers directly and then manually extract the result from the ADCL and ADCH registers. Using the voltage conversion formula discussed in earlier videos, we then back-calculate the actual reference voltage, which is by default the supply voltage. Here, the ADC value is known, the measured voltage is 1.1 volt, and the maximum ADC value is 1023, leaving the reference voltage or the supply voltage as the only unknown. Once we determine the actual supply voltage, we apply the same formula again, this time using the ADC value from step 1 and our calculated reference voltage to obtain accurate results. So let's look at the code. We start by declaring variables. First, we have an integer variable named ADC value to hold raw ADC data. Then we have 3 float variables, uncalibrated voltage, calibrated voltage, and supply voltage, for storing different voltage values. Finally, we have a long variable named result to temporarily store the ADC readings when we read the internal 1.1 volt reference voltage. In the setup function, we initiate serial communication and configure pin A0 as an input pin. Inside loop, we first read pin A0 using the analog read function. Convert the result into volts assuming the supply voltage is 5 volts and store it in the uncalibrated voltage variable. This variable is then printed on the serial monitor. Next, we measure the internal 1.1 volt reference to calculate the true supply voltage. To do this, we configure the ADMUX register. First, we set the reference voltage source for our ADC to the supply voltage. We do this by setting REFS0 bit to 1 and REFS1 bit to 0. Next, we will set the ADC channel so that we can measure the internal 1.1 volt reference. For this, we set MUX3, MUX2, and MUX1 bits to 1, and MUX0 bit is set to 0. So our ADMUX register looks something like this. To set the bits of the ADMUX register, we will use the _BV macro. This macro outputs an 8-bit binary number by shifting 1 to the position specified in its parentheses. For example, if we write _BV2, it produces an 8-bit binary value with 1 shifted 2 places to the left, as shown here. In the code, we first pass REFS0 into the BV macro, which shifts a 1 into the REFS0 bit position and outputs the corresponding 8-bit number. We repeat the same process for MUX3, MUX2, and MUX1. The Arduino already knows the exact bit positions of these identifiers within the ADMUX register. Finally, we OR all these values together to generate the ADMUX register configuration we need. After setting ADMUX, we give a short delay for everything to settle down, then start the conversion by setting the ADSC bit in the ADCSRA register. In this register, we only need to set the ADSC bit to 1 without altering any of the other bits. So to do this, we use the _BV macro with ADSC as the parameter. This generates an 8-bit number with a 1 shifted into the ADSC bit position. We then OR this value with the existing ADCSRA register, which leaves all other bits unchanged while setting the ADSC bit to 1. Finally, we store this updated value back into the ADCSRA register. Next in the code, we wait for the conversion to finish using a while loop. The loop condition relies on a function called bitIsSet, which checks whether a specific bit in a register is set to 1. This function takes 2 parameters. The first is the special function register, any hardware register in the ATMECA 328, such as ADCSRA, ADMUX, or port B. The second parameter specifies the bit position, 0 to 7, within that register. The function returns true if the bit is set to 1 and false otherwise. In our case, we use this function inside the while loop condition, passing ADCSRA and ADSC as parameters. The function checks whether the ADSC bit in the ADCSRA register is set to 1. Since we set this bit to 1 to start the conversion, the function initially returns true. Once the conversion is complete, the hardware automatically clears the ADSC bit to 0, causing the function to return false and the loop to terminate. Once the conversion is complete, it is stored in the ADCL and ADCH registers. For example, if the ADC output is 714, its binary form is the following number. The lower 8 bits are placed in the ADCL register, while the upper 2 bits are stored in the ADCH register. To reconstruct the full value, we read both registers and combine them into a single variable named result. First, we assign the ADCL register to the result variable. This will automatically save the decimal version of the ADCL register, which is 202 in the result variable. Next, we shift left the ADCH register by 8 positions to align correctly. So before shifting, our ADCH register holds the following number. Shifting it left by 8 produces this number, which is equal to 512 in decimal. Finally, we combine both parts. The ADCL value, 202, already stored in the result variable, and the shifted ADCH value, 512, using the OR operator. The result is 714, which matches the original ADC output. With this ADC value, we use a rearranged voltage formula to compute the actual supply voltage. This accurate supply voltage is then used to recalculate the input voltage on pin A0 and is stored in the calibrated voltage variable. We then print this variable alongside the uncalibrated one on the serial monitor. So let's upload the code to our Arduino. We're using the same circuit as in the previous video, a precise 3.3 volt source connected to pin A0. The Arduino is connected to the PC via a USB to TTL converter and powered by an external supply. After uploading, we open the serial monitor. You'll notice that the calibrated voltage values are very close to the actual 3.3 volt input, while the uncalibrated readings show noticeable error. If we reduce the supply voltage to 4.6 volts, the calibrated voltage values remain stable, but the uncalibrated voltage values drift further from the actual 3.3 volt input. Now, if we lower the input voltage to around 1.22 volts, we still get accurate calibrated voltage readings compared to the uncalibrated ones. Even when we raise the input voltage to 4.3 volts, the calibrated results continue to match closely with the real value. And that's all for this video. If you found it useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel and website for more tutorials, and we'll see you in the next one.